Monday morning after the quarterfinals, and we are back. It's the AFCON Daily Show on Citi TV. My name is Nathan Carr. It's always fun bringing you this particular show. Runs for an hour between now and about 1 p.m. or so. I always say that this is the primer you need. This is the accompaniment you need to enjoy your AFCON. All the lovely chit-chat, preview, review, technical analysis, interesting trends, interesting topics to discuss all around the AFCON, which is being played in Cameroon. And would love to hear from you as well. If you have anything to tell us, send us a message on the WhatsApp number on your screen, 0550 585832, 0550 585832. Would love to hear from you. So please send in those comments, whether in Ghana or outside Ghana, all over the continent. If you're watching us outside Ghana, then it means you're on DSTV channel 363 and GoTV channel 182. Thank you for joining us. We'll take a snappy break. When we come back, I introduce my wingman for the day and we start talking. This is the AFCON Daily Show on Citi TV. We'll be right back. Please do not go anywhere. Welcome back, AFCON Daily Show on Citi TV. Let me introduce the guys. They are ready and raring to go. Fenton Tahiri is here. Hello.
Hi.
You look sharp. I like that.
Thank you very much. I'm always looking sharp.
I like that. Daniel Cranting is here. Daniel,
hi Nathan. Hi, Fent.
Yeah. I love the look. I love the look.
He said he got a haircut.
He did.
I don't see it.
You can't see it?
No, I can't see it. Apart from the two voice on the left, which the camera can't see.
Everything's looking sharp.
Nathan says hi, Daniel. I say hi, Nathan. Hi, Fent. When did I say I got a haircut?
Last week. The haircut was 1 week overdue. And he finally got it this weekend. I still can't see what exactly the barber did. And he collected money.
Alrighty. Susu Graham is on the touch. Hello, Susu.
Fine, thank you.
You're good?
Oh, wonderful.
All right.
Daniel, I actually like Daniel's haircut. I can see where the barber did.
Don't like my haircut. I don't want to. Don't like my haircut. I want a normal kind.
Susu is coming. He's looking for trouble this afternoon.
Don't like my haircut.
All right.
There's history there.
I don't even know what the history is.
Yeah, because now he can't give compliments in peace.
Okay.
I think it's from the. What's that thing Susu likes to eat? The
spreadsheet.
It's from the spreadsheet.
The compliment is from the spreadsheet.
We'll get there.
Okay, we'll get to the spreadsheet in a second. Let's have a look at the results from the quarterfinals play. There you have it. Gambia 0, Cameroon 2. Burkina Faso 1, Tunisia 0. And it was a very interesting game. These games were played on Saturday. Kale Kambitoko, he scored twice, while you had Burkina Faso winning. On Sunday, it was Egypt 2, Morocco 1. Egypt getting only their 4th win over Morocco in all competitions in their history. And it was Senegal 3, Equatorial Guinea 1. You thought the Equatorial Guineans would cause an upset. No. The Senegalese had other ideas. So there you have it. Our semi-final tree is complete. There, Burkina Faso will face Senegal. And then you have Cameroon versus Egypt in a repeat of the 2017 final that was won by Cameroon. This time the Cameroonians are at home in the AFCON 2021 competition. Let us begin, and let's begin with our first game. There you have it, the Cameroon game. Very interesting encounter there. The Cameroonians showing class, showing strength, showing belief. In the end, they were a bit too much for the Gambians, who were experiencing their first AFCON quarter-final in their history. Turned out to be a very, very interesting game. A lot of effort from the Gambians, but in the end, it was Cameroon who made it.
Yeah, I thought this was Cameroon's best game of the tournament, to be honest. Based on the quality of play, the tactics deployed, the strength of the opposition, and the profile of manager that he was coming up against. This was a game that everybody expected the Gambia to come and sit really deep throughout the competition. They had not conceded in the first half, or is it one goal in the first half? So they are noted for shutting shop. And it was almost expected to be some sort of like a game where Gambia would just basically come and sit back and ask Cameroon to show different aspects of their game to try to open them up. And I think that Cameroon responded brilliantly. Both goals were very well worked. The second goal, the first goal in particular, that cross from Fai, the header, brilliant from Toko Ekambi. And I think the Gambia probably, maybe, in my opinion, they may have focused a little bit too much on Vincent Abubakar and left Toko Ekambi a bit too free because, and you see, and to be honest, when you look at the two strikers, Abubakar may have scored all of the goals in this competition, but Toko Ekambi came into this particular tournament as the one with the higher profile, if you like, playing at the higher level.
Yeah. For Lyon.
Exactly. He scores a lot of goals in the French League. So you look at the way he found freedom and space to exploit, to find those finishes. It's a bit of a letdown, to be honest. And I think in the end, Gambia should be proud of themselves. I think they gave it a really good fight. But it just I think at the end of the day, in this particular game, they were just not good enough. I couldn't see where Gambia's score was going to come from. It was almost like a 10-0-0 formation for me. They came, they packed the bus. They didn't have any outlet in terms of trying to find any threats anywhere. And then the one thing they defending and keeping a very compact defensive line. In the second half, that completely went out the window. They left too many spaces for Cameroon to exploit. And to be fair, I think that Cameroon probably should have won by 4 or 5 goals to nil. Vincent Abubakar himself missed a really good opportunity, found spaces, tack in, tack out kind of runs, gave him a really good header, which he missed. And then Clinton Inji, I've seen a petition that he should never don the Indomitable Lions jersey again. He had a really good opportunity after 2-0 to make it 3-0. I'm not sure what he was thinking there. He missed it. So Cameroon found a lot of openings, and I think that everybody will know that in the end they absolutely deserved to win. They were better tactically. They showed more quality, created the better opportunities, and all round. Personally, I think this was the game where they showed a different side of them, trying to break down an opposition that didn't really come to play any sort of football except to try and defend. And they found the answers in such impeccable fashion. And now their 2 strikers have 6 and 5 goals respectively.
Yeah,
that's
great
stuff.
That's
That's
from
incredible.
the Cameroonians. Then what happened to the Gambia? Was it a game plan that fell apart, or they just came across a team that had too much for them?
It was an incomplete game plan.
An incomplete game plan.
And I say that because of the way they defended. It was solid. When you looked at their positioning, defensive positioning in the game, especially in the first half, that's where you get the real sense of what they were about. It was a first line of 4, a second line of 4, which was very close to the first line of 4, and then the 2 forwards up there, who were also very close to the mid block. So they were not really allowing Cameroon spaces in between the lines, and that was very compact. So all the Cameroonians could do was to now go wide and swing crosses in. Now, after the first 2 crosses, you could tell that was where, or that was going to be trouble for Gambia if they didn't take care. You saw the first one was the one Vincent Abubakar flicked with his foot. The second one was he moved away from his marker. That was a cross from deep from Igalimo. He moved past his marker, headed it just wide, and then the third one resulted in a point-blank save. So at that, in fact, after the second Vincent Abubakar chance, I was asking myself, why wasn't Saint Faith instructing his defenders to stop the crosses? Because it was quite obvious that they were a bit weak in terms of defending crosses. The Cameroonians were clearly physically more dominant than them. They were getting at the end of those crosses, and they were very dangerous. Because if you looked at the game on a whole, Cameroon, and I always like to analyze things before the goal comes, because after you concede, when you're a team that goes onto the pitch to defend, after they score, your game plan is completely out of the window. So up until the time Cameroon scored the goal in the second half, 50th minute, Cameroon did not fashion any chance through the middle. Everything Cameroon created was coming out wide. And for me, I had a major problem with Gambia, because it wasn't like they didn't have bodies out wide to be able to stop those crosses. They were just backing off and allowing the Cameroonians the freedom to get in the cross. If you can watch the second goal, or Toko Ekambi's goal, for example, there were 2 guys there who just stood off him, like very lackadaisically, just stood off him when he was about to cross. Then they just put in their body like that. And for it to happen just 5 minutes into the second half, I'm asking myself, look at the 2 guys. Nobody made an attempt to close him down and stop that cross.
It was a very easy cross.
Yeah.
Very easy cross.
And you see, it's very problematic for me, because when you review what has happened during the first half, you have 15 minutes to give in an instruction. And it was a very simple instruction he should have given because everything was working. Everything was working. Cameroon could not create from the middle. They were being forced out wide. Now, if you make an attempt to stop those crosses, close them down every single time, they are getting blocked. They will throw the ball in. They will do and do and do and do. And you go to extra time, something you want. You can make a go out of anywhere. But the only realistic chance Cameroon, it looked like on paper and what we saw on the pitch, the only realistic chance Cameroon had to score was out wide. And Gambia didn't make any attempt to stop those crosses. So that is, on that part, it's a coaching problem. He obviously made a huge mistake. Maybe he trusted his centre-backs a bit too much. But I don't blame them because throughout the competition we've seen, and we all know the strength of Vincent Abubakar and Toko Ekambi. And if you watch in the second half, they gave Toko Ekambi and I think it was Zambo Ngisa license to move into the box. So anytime Colin Faye and Galemo had the ball on the right-hand side, you had 2 or 3 people moving into the box just to occupy the space. And for me, it was very problematic because it could have been avoided. It was something that Tom St. Faith should have seen by halftime. In fact, by the 25th minute, he should have seen that was the only realistic way Cameroon was able to, would have been able to score. And he failed to stop it. And unfortunately, Gambia in this situation.
And the second goal, I think, was even more criminal than the first because the cross goes in front of the goalkeeper. And nobody watches Toko Ekambi.
Look, for the second goal, you can't necessarily blame them.
It's very similar to the Salah assist for Tracy.
Look, because once the first goal goes in, you are now looking to, you have 10-15 minutes to try and figure yourselves out and change the game plan.
After 7
and then you.
But I really like this goal. I really like this goal.
It's a good point because there are 3 defenders in between the one that crossed the ball and Toko Ekambi. The cross is coming. They are anticipating a cutback. All 3 of them are anticipating a cutback, and nobody makes a run forward.
Susu, let's get to you. What did the numbers say? I'm eager to see the XG.
Well, I think the numbers paint a picture of a dominant performance by Cameroon. I think this was Gambia's worst performance of the competition. They didn't threaten in any way. So you look at the XG to start, 2.7 to 0.1. Huge XG difference. So Cameroon even underperformed. So they should have won by
2.
Exactly. They should have won by, usually you see 2.7, you see a team can score 4 or 5 with that. Then you see the possession. The Gambians just couldn't keep the ball. So they're 61%. And like we spoke about earlier, the Cameroonians love to move the ball around. They are very measured in their possession. They like to keep the ball. They make it difficult. But what I liked is it wasn't wasteful possession. So 18 shots, 7 on target, and 2 shots for Gambia, 1 on target. They entered the box 38 times. The Gambians entered the box 12 times, but no shots in the box. But the Cameroonians had 13 shots in the box. They created high-quality opportunities and took them. I think that was the difference today. I think we have to salute the Gambians because it's been a wonderful AFCON run. It just happened that today, on the last day, the game plan just didn't work out. But I think they've really impressed us. And I think Tom Seinfeld has really impressed a lot of people. And I think, like Fentia said, he's someone we should be considering for the Ghana job if we are going the route of a foreign coach. But I personally prefer a Ghanaian.
I was very disappointed. And I don't know how to stress that enough because, look, it was so obvious. It was there.
No, you also made the point that maybe he trusted the centre backs.
Do me a favor. Let's just roll the highlights again.
Okay.
Roll the highlights. You see that every single opportunity Cameroon got was through a cross. From the right-hand side.
First opportunity. Collins. This is
in Gallimore.
In Gallimore.
Crosses the ball
comes in.
Abubakar flicks it.
Okay. That could have been a goal.
That should have been a goal. Yeah. This is a first warning sign that, yes, you are defending very well. Second one, Colin Faye fires from range. This is not even a chance for XG. I don't think XG
is not a chance.
And then the third opportunity came. You see, every single time, it's not like Cameroon were even using both flanks. They were going down the right-hand side. And it's been a feature in this Cameroonian team from the start of the competition. Again. The combination between Colin Faye and Ngalimo. This was from deep. This was from deep. So they knew that they couldn't penetrate the block, the low block of the Gambians. So you have to go out wide. And you see, he's there. He's not making an attempt to stop it. He's not closing him down. He's just watching him, thinking and trusting that his centre backs will be able to deal with the problem. And this happened in the first half. So if you are the coach and you see this thing, first 15 minutes, tell him, close him down. Close him down.
They're just waiting for him to kick the ball.
Close him down. And you've averted all the danger because Cameroon wouldn't have been able to score. It was
and even if you look at the defensive effort in the penalty area. It was really poor. Yeah. Nobody attempted going up.
Yeah, the one that challenged for the header didn't challenge for the header. He basically just nudged. Toko Ekambi.
It was very disappointing.
In the waist.
And
that goes nowhere.
Thompson,
there was a pattern to the way Cameroon attacked.
Qualify again. It's always down the right-hand side. Think about the Ethiopia game.
Down the right.
Yeah, 3 of the goals came down the right. It's always qualifying in Galimo on that side, linking up, crossing the ball into every single time.
But maybe that's that's the point, though. Maybe that is Cameroon's biggest strength, and it's just impossible for opposition players to stop.
Friends, you close him down, you stop crosses. That's it.
Just stop. I get that. I get what you're saying. But I think it's easier said than done. Really, you can't stop crosses the entire match. Some crosses will get
it. And we could clearly see that this Cameroon are doing an overload down your right with Igalimo and Fine. So you clearly have to think of a way of stopping the cross.
See, I guess it too, but I'm just saying that maybe it's just impossible for them.
It's like the Iron Robin thing. It's coming.
Like the Salah thing, like we were talking about yesterday. You just know that he could do that, but you can't stop it.
All right, let's move it on. Let's move it on to the other game of the day. Let's have a look at that Burkina Faso Tunisia encounter. Now the Tunisians had come in after beating Nigeria. The plan was that they were going to try and progress against another West African side. But guys, the Burkinabes in that first half showed a certain amount of bravery. We had seen them play open football, but this was next level bravery, really, thanks from the Burkinabes. They went at the Tunisians, and the goal that settled it, lovely goal they scored on the break.
And this was a fabulous game of football. End-to-end stuff, fearless style of football from both teams. Some people consider that careless, really, because in knockout football, you can't play like that.
But this was a lovely goal from Dango. And
expect to stay in the competition.
Dango unchained.
The goal was a brilliant goal. But credit to the referee, because there was I think a call for a foul that was let go for the advantage. The checking didn't quite get the flick right, but it still fell to him quite nicely on the half volley. No chance for the goalkeeper. If there's any goal to win a game, this is how you win it. But I think throughout the match, both teams had really good chances. Burkina Faso in particular, that's another really good opportunity. Yes, probably should have done better. But I think overall, the Tunisians should be looking at this competition, looking back and asking themselves how they didn't get something out of this game. Because how is that not a goal? And they fell to their best player, and that's always that's the unfortunate part, because Wabi Kazri should be scoring that, no excuse whatsoever.
Or he's just making the goalkeeper win.
He didn't even make him make a save. He got it off target. And I think one thing I've been impressed in this competition has been the quality of free kicks, set pieces, throughout the entire tournament. It's not just one team. And in this game, we saw a couple of those. Goalkeepers had to make really good saves as well. So in the end, I think Burkina Faso just about did enough to qualify. And I think deservedly so, because, they scored the most important goal. Okay. Tunisia had their chances. They didn't score. Burkina Faso got their chance and they scored. And I think this is just the perfect crowning of what Burkina Faso has been doing over the years. Because I think in 2013, when they made the final, 2017, they made the semis. And now, consistently, they're turning themselves into a force to reckon with in the AFCON. I hope they don't do a Ghana who came closer and closer and closer and made like 6 semi-finals in 7 editions, and people thought, they were getting closer to the title. But,
only for them to miss out.
And so I'm very happy for them. I saw how I always like to check out the streets every time a team win. I saw the streets of Ouagadougou.
It was buzzing.
It was buzzing. And this was a country that was supposed to have been under military rule with a curfew. It's like no respect for the curfew whatsoever. I mean, football brings some bridal joy to people. And Burkina Faso, I'm very happy for them. The game against Senegal is one that I'm particularly looking forward to. Every time 2 West Africans meet,
it will be very physical. I heard their coach was a former police chief.
He was a former police chief.
I can imagine the amount of discipline in that.
But I just before you go to Daniel, I honestly think that Burkina Faso, throughout this competition, this is probably the only game where they were actually much more open than all the other.
I think in the Gabon game,
because and they have this thing about them. Their quick transitions are hard to deal with, and it was one of them that resulted in the goal. And I think they are probably at the moment of all the teams left in the competition, they are the best at that sort of style of football, and they will cause problems for a lot of teams, especially against a Senegalese team that wants to keep the ball. They could find themselves in trouble against this Burkina team.
Daniel, I repeat the preamble from the previous game. How did it go wrong for Tunisia?
They just didn't take their chances. Look, it was one of those games. It was a game of fine margins. And I'm sure when we go to Sutu, we'll get a clearer picture. But from what the naked eye could see on the pitch, it was one of those things. If Team A won, you say they deserved it. If Team B won, you say they deserved it. They went at it end-to-end stuff, good opportunities. And Fen talks about that Wabi Kazri chance. And look, everybody in Tunisia will be disappointed. There were 11 players on the pitch and 27 players in their squad. If there was anybody they wanted that chance to fall to, it was Wabi Kazri. And unfortunately, he didn't even hit the target. It's not like he even hit the post. I think he went out for a throw ball. It
almost went out for a goal kick. He tried keeping it alive.
It was very disappointing from him. But one of those things, 9 times out of 10, it will go your way. And just that one.
He gets that on target anyhow.
Any day, anytime. But unfortunately for Tunisia,
like 4 years out.
Yeah, but look, from a neutral point of view, it was a nice, beautiful game of football to win. The head coach will tell you that, look, it's ifs and buts. There were those tiny, fine margins there. Well, if this guy had put it in, maybe he would have gone to extra time penalties. You never know.
Well, the Tunisians have fired their manager, according to reports, because they didn't progress. Ruthless stuff there.
Later, have you seen your Slack? What was Stallions kick out Eagles? Like that is the only thing that is expected. If a stallion comes up against an eagle, the eagle has no chance.
But the eagle can fly.
Oh, please. I mean,
but football is played on the ground. So.
Exactly.
Of course.
You put stallions
I almost wrote stallions trample on eagles, but I thought that was a little. I thought that would have been better.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah, stallions trample on eagles. But anyway,
stallions kick out eagles.
But I give them a back, a back.
That's what I'm saying.
Numbers. Did the numbers highlight the same thing? Daniel mentioned fine margins. Fen said the game could have gone either way. Do the numbers tell us the same thing?
I think they were pretty close, but I think the second half might have skewed a bit, where the Burkina sat back a bit. They were a bit more willing to kind of, sit down, just let the Tunisians play a bit more ball. So you see possession is about 60.9 to 39.1. So I think this was very influenced by the second half, where they kind of sat back. So you see the clearances, 27-14. Long passes, 20% to 8.9%. So it fits into the game plan of sitting back, kicking it long, kind of trying to find them on the counter. But you see, they use the ball very effectively because 10 shots, 5 on target, 3 on target, 53 final third entries to 41. So it looks like the Burkina were more useful with the ball, even though they just lost out on XG. So Tunisia's 1.4 XG is a bit higher, but you'd expect that from a team that's chasing and trying to find the equalizer to kind of rack up the XG because they are taking more shots and not particularly good ones. Because as you can see, they are not putting the ball on target, even though they took the same number of shots.
There's a line that jumps out. The final third entries, and you could see the Burkina did far better than the Tunisians.
Exactly. So that's what I was saying. Efficient use of the ball, something that Daniel would like. When you stick to your game plan and you use the ball well, you're getting the ball, you're getting to the final third quickly and effectively. Then there's the Tunisians who have more of the ball but are not really getting it. So it's a bit of a different game plan, different strategy. So, like I said, you guys said, it's a close game. There's not much difference in the XG. But the Tunisians, like you said, just edged it because of the chance creation in the second half. But Burkina Faso won the game, and that's all that matters.
All right. I mean, quite interesting stuff.
Just a quick one to Susu. If you look at the XG, in as much as you might say the Tunisians didn't enter the box as much, they were not doing much with their shots. That 1.4, on basis of what we saw in terms of chances, it means they were supposed to win the game. 1.4 that's a goal. At least they should have.
But we've also talked about their finishing throughout the tournament. But their finishing has been poor.
The quality of the chance.
So it's to be expected. They've been underperforming their XG throughout the tournament, I believe. Yeah. So the fact that they got 1.4, considering how they've been finishing, like you said, Kazri got that great chance, couldn't do it.
That chance alone is like 1.4 to be honest.
I mean, so look, how much, if you were computing that XG, that Kazri chance would be worth how many points?
It was about the 6-yard box, right?
Yes.
How many
It was
defenders?
inside the
Oh,
6
inside
yard.
the
How many defenders are around him? Let's
was
talk it
nobody
out.
The
around
cross
him.
had
He
taken
had the
out.
keeper
The
to
cross
beat
had
and he
taken out
kicked
the
it wide.
defense.
I just wanted to be just
Yeah,
laid
that's
out.
the
So the
point.
cross had taken out the defense.
We
There
can
also
show that
was a
again.
bit
It
of
also
an angle.
affects about how you have to use your body and the way the flight of the ball. So maybe 0.6. I would give it maybe.
This is
So
it.
here, this
So
is
this
it.
is the chance. So
He's
that's the
alone.
So we
opportunity.
are watching it again. Yeah, I think because of the flight of the.
That's like an empty.
But I think the flight of the ball and the defender being near him.
He
I
just
feel no worries.
misjudged it.
Yeah,
That's all. He misjudged
So
it.
it's
You
like
see-
a 0.4.
I would say a 0.5, 0.6. But you see, like I said, sometimes just because the XG is a certain value, it doesn't mean you shouldn't score it.
Susu, that is 2. That's an XG of 2.
Okay, guys, this final question. The Burkinabes played without Bertrand Traore. They didn't seem to miss him. But Dango is out in their semi. So Traore comes back in.
The system
Probably.
is working.
Yeah, it's a systematic
System-
issue. It's
system,
not a
right?
personal issue. So I think this is such a big challenge playing against Senegal, who themselves haven't necessarily been that brilliant. Yeah, you know. So I honestly expect them to give it as difficult a challenge as ever. Doesn't matter who plays, to be honest. And I'm particularly looking forward to that match because I think,
should be good.
you know, I think that is a game where Burkina Faso could possibly use their biggest strength. You know, setting the quick transitions into the position box,
All right,
and
we'll see.
finishing chances of.
Okay, we'll see how it goes when the Stallions take on the Lions. Imagine if this were a fight on National Geographic. You can imagine who would be winning that one possibly. Anyway, you're still watching the AFCON Daily Show. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we have 2 more quarters to look at. The North African Derby plus that game involving Senegal and Equatorial Guinea. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. The AFCON Daily Show on Citi TV. We are live and the guys are here. Susu Graham, Daniel Cranting, and Fentu Tahiri. Let's move on to the next game on our menu. And it's the finalists from 2019. Senegal. They took on Equatorial Guinea.
Thank you, guys.
All right, so there you have a Senegal in Guinea. Oh, lovely first goal there by the Senegalese Jeji Dieng. There at this point, it was Senegal who were up by a goal, but the Equatorial Guineans had other ideas there. But lovely finish. I love it when the goalkeeper is left really a little bamboozled by
The
such
quality
strike.
of that shot,
Yep,
brilliant.
near post
Had
strike.
him flat-footed.
You don't have to think about it.
Yeah, wonderful
Let's get-
finish. And I thought Senegal were cruising, and then they conceded a really.
Very, very strange goal. And this was a
Yes.
very interesting decision there. The ref went to look at it. He decided that this wasn't a penalty.
Yeah.
Why was
The arms were in a
natural position?
Yes,
Arms were already
I
by
think
the
that
side.
that was the right
Good
decision.
refereeing there. But the Equatorial Guineans responded.
Yes.
Good exchanges there. And first time,
I just
I love
bought
the
this.
finish. I love the finish.
There's like so many green bodies, but nobody is doing anything.
I wasn't surprised. The guy's jersey number, the finish, that's Thierry Henry. The touch,
Quick
the
thinking,
finish,
quick thinking.
that is Thierry Henry.
Quick thinking there. And Yannick, he managed to get them
And
level.
then, of course,
And then minutes later, the Equatorial Guineans collapsed on
this was
themselves.
a gift,
And this
to
was
be
a
honest.
bad goal
Not
to
sure what they
concede.
were thinking or what they
In
were
an
doing.
AFCON quarter-final. When you concede this, you are on your way out.
Communication.
Nobody was
Communication.
talking. Nobody was talking.
They didn't know they were challenging each other. And the one that eventually won the ball won it at the wrong side of his.
Nobody was talking to each other. That, hey, that's your ball, watch or man on or something.
Nobody
It didn't happen.
sees that.
Anyone on the pitch going to get a goal against him? Is this
Cheku Kouyaté. But interestingly, Aliou Cisse had made the change. It was Cheku Kouyaté who came on, and then it was Ismail Assar who made it 3-1 there, and it was good night, Equatorial Guinea.
Yeah.
They are out of the
They knew
competition.
what they were doing. The Senegalese, when they insisted on taking him to the competition,
They knew.
they knew. Exactly.
They thoroughly deserve to win. I think it's one of those matches where you really can't. You can't say otherwise.
Okay.
The quality of the goals were brilliant. I think also again that Senegal probably now coming alive in the competition. Got 3 goals from open play. We hadn't seen that until the
They
last.
started a group stage with 1 penalty.
You know, and they were struggling. And you look at the way even they came up with the goals, the different routines involved. You can tell that this is a team that is finally kicking into gear. And I think from this moment on, they'll start to believe in themselves. And this is 3 goals they scored without Sadio Mane scoring. So that says a lot about where they're finding answers to their goal scoring.
How much credit should we give to Aliou Cisse?
Oh, yes, to be honest. He's been in charge of this team for 7 years now. And this is a result of, I guess, patience, believing in your own, careful planning. And
of
he's
course,
taking them
his meeting the targets and fulfilling his part of the deal.
Yes, he took them to, I think, 2 AFCONs. This is the third one. He's gone to the World Cup one. So he's been involved in this team for a long time. And the players really respect him. And he's got talent. He's managing all kinds of egos, players who play at the highest level. UEFA goalkeeper of the year. He's coaching him. He's coaching
Premier League winner, Champions
League, Premier League top scorer. So he is. He must have something going for him. And I think at this point, though, and I must say, if Senegal don't win the African Cup of Nations, they will, because I can't think about it. Senegal have never won the African Cup of Nations.
But look, Senegal have never. But to be fair, Senegal have never been the greatest footballing. They do.
What do you mean they've not been?
This is what I mean.
They've not been the greatest.
Listen, this is what I mean.
What makes you great?
Listen, I'm coming. This is what I mean. If you ask to write African football royalty, right? Write down the names of countries that make up African football royalty: Egypt, Cameroon, Nigeria, Ghana. You've not mentioned.
No, here's the question: make a list of 100 players.
I understand,
but that's the point.
And I was coming to make a point. I think Senegal as a country, 92 was a good place to start. Of course, previously they may have had 1 or 2 players, but if you go back to 92, they had only 1 player who played in Europe, Suleiman Sane, Leroy's father.
Yes.
And I think he started a certain trend, culminating in 2002, where they put together a 23 at a World Cup that played in Europe.
Yeah, but you see, the whole players must play in Europe to be considered quality.
I'm not saying so. The point I'm making is that...
that's the premise of your argument here. That they only have 1 player who played in Europe. So
the point I'm making is that... I'm just saying this, that when we say Senegal, if you say, they haven't won an AFCON, it's not like when the AFCON started in the 50s and 60s, Senegal was...
No, when I say Senegal haven't won the AFCON, I am making that statement as against the pedigree they have had in terms of the quality of players they have produced over the last 25 years.
That's great.
So my point to counter
and during that period, Cameroon won like 3 AFCONs.
No doubt.
Over that period.
You said 25 years. The point I just want to make is that 25 years is a good place to start and end it.
Yes.
Not beyond 25 years.
Yeah, but I'm saying
25, if you haven't won an AFCON in 25, it's not too strange because Senegal only woke up since 2002.
No, I think it is very strange, to be honest.
When
you look at the quality of players they have produced, I don't see why you guys are making
excuses I think I also disagree. I'm saying in that 2002 competition, that's why I like to look at things in context. Who did they lose to? They lost to Cameroon in the final.
Yes.
That Cameroon team was, by far.
Boma,
Eto,
Jeremy, great.
Olympic.
Hold on.
These are great.
Yes, but that was
so if you lose to a team like that, there's no harm in that.
Fine. So I'm not. You see, that's why I'm not even focusing too much on the 2002 loss, because granted, if they were going to lose that year, it was going to be.
Then they didn't have a better team.
Hold on. Just 2 years after that, that golden generation of players still existed. What happened at AFCON 2004?
They made the semis.
Do you know what happened? We all know what happened in that competition.
And that's the point.
It's true. You see, some things are not footballing related. They put off the lights in the stadium before the lights came on. They were 2-1. We all saw what happened that game.
You don't know what happened. And then by
2004, we all watched that game.
And then by 2006, they were losing to Ghana in the group stages and punching each other. And Ghana that didn't have Suleiman Tari, didn't have Jan, didn't have Michael Essien. They lost a Ghana team that lost to Zimbabwe.
No, but friend, that Senegalese team in itself was not better than anybody else.
No, but you see,
every coach came with a better squad. Nigeria came with a better squad.
And that's the thing. Everybody always comes with a better squad. To be fair, every country that has won the AFCON.
So it's not a given that they are supposed to win the AFCON.
Every country that has won the AFCON at any given year haven't necessarily come with the best players. So I'm saying that.
It depends.
What do you mean it depends?
Look.
In 2006, did the Egyptians have the best players? No. In 2008,
and they had some of the best players on the continent.
In 2008, did they have the best players? Not some of the best. Did they have the best players?
Hosni Abutrika.
Yes.
That is just not true. I think all of you completely forget the squad Ivory Coast presented in 2008.
Cote d'Ivoire
what is wrong with you people? Are you serious?
I think the pedigree in that Egyptian squad
Ivory Coast hadn't
way
won
ahead.
the AFCON.
Okay, Susu, you were making.
I just want to make a small. I think Senegal and Mali. I don't think there's any difference in football heritage. I even think Mali is above them. Do you think Mali should have won an AFCON by now?
Mali?
Yeah.
They haven't produced quarter the talent Senegal.
Oh, I think that's a
produced
dirty. I think that's a lie.
Senegal's
I think that's a
talent
lie.
is lopsided. We all
I think
saw
that's
their
a
squad
lie.
from 2006,
Senegal
2008.
came to the AFCON.
It was 16
I
attackers,
didn't-
4 defenders, 2 midfielders.
So you're saying that it's excusable that Senegal haven't won the
That's not
AFCON
what
last
I'm
year?
saying.
Football
For me,
royalty.
it is.
They are not football
The same way it's
royalty.
excusable that Ghana hasn't won.
No,
Ghana
no,
not
no,
serious.
serious.
Ghana not serious.
See,
The point you
I
are
don't
making
like
is
the
that-
inconsistency.
It's not inconsistent.
So it is
We are saying that
Ghana-
every time Senegal have showed, it's not like the Senegalese have made every single AFCON semi-final, final, and haven't won.
That's the reason why it's more disappointing.
No, the reason is that it is now that we can accuse them. For example, if they don't win this year, then we can accuse them.
This year,
Yes.
when they didn't even make it out of the group stages in 2015,
Anyway,
you made an excuse for
you
them.
one day we'll talk about this. Let's move it on. Let's talk about the other game that was exciting in the quarters. The North African derby between Egypt and Morocco. The Egyptians had won only 3 times against their Moroccan friends. The Moroccans had 12 wins. But what happened over the weekend?
14 wins.
14 wins. Thank you very much, Susu. There you have it there. At the start of it, Morocco win themselves a penalty. And Sofiane Boufal managed to put that away. Ashraf Hakimi causing problems there, and Banga. The Moroccans take the lead in that game there. I'm sure at this point they were feeling
I
happy.
just want to make a small point before you go. The Egyptian keeper dived to the right again. So Eric Bailly had no excuse. I just wanted to point that out.
Okay, so now Egypt started to play. They started to wake up. They wanted to find a way back there. Number 12 with that opportunity. Good save by Bono. And Bono pushed himself there, getting himself a save. No, at this point, you knew the Egyptians were going to try hard. Daniel, did you think that this was going to end 1-0?
Nathan, with all due respect, I beg you, but I want them to see my face. So let's go to Fence first.
We should go to
When
Fence.
the
Okay,
highlights
Fence.
are
Your
done,
thoughts. So this
they look
was
at my face,
1-1, Mo Salah.
Yeah,
And there you
right
have
place, right time,
right man.
finish it at the far post. And I think the Moroccans will be disappointed in the manner in which they consider this goal, to be honest. Mo Salah, the most dangerous player on the pitch, basically free when the ball is, when the initial contact is made to the ball, and everybody is just a passenger raising their hands. Disappointing goal to concede, but Salah won't mind. He's got it. Here, another opportunity, but what a tackle from Roman Saiz. Yeah. You talk about quality defending. This is it. Highest quality defending from him. And then this save, possibly the save at the tournament, got him a groin injury, got him out of the competition. What a header from Aguirre. And then, of course, Grabatsky, that save was his last contribution in the game, had to be substituted. Then Mo Salah. We have seen this so many times in the Premier League, where he looks like he's checking onto his left, then he goes right, and he's unstoppable. You see, Bono sees it. He's coming out, he's unable to get there, tries to get the far post, finishes off. But Salah, everything is down to that Salah movement. Very signature Mo Salah. He does like he's trying to go to the left, then he checks onto his right, takes another look at where Trezeguet is, slips the ball into him. And all of that sequence was made within like 1 second, where he's making all of these decisions at the same time. And there's like 3 or 4 Moroccan players that were taken out by that one single move. And, I think we talk about where quality always shines through. And this was one of those matches where Mo Salah basically decided that, there's responsibility here and I need to take charge. And he did. And I'm not happy that the highlights didn't include that. It should have been 3-0. That miss from Egypt was criminal in extra time when Morocco had, I think, a free kick. And then it was poorly taken. Bono, everybody was in Egypt's half. Egypt take the ball. It's 3-on-1. There's one Moroccan defender. And he's backpedaling. He's retreating. Salah is going at him. There's nobody inside the post. All Salah just has to do is chip. An ability that he has, that we all know he has. He's done it before. Somehow he decides to slip the ball back to a teammate, and the teammate's return pass was just poor, and in the end they missed. But I think this was a game where Egypt thoroughly deserved to win. And we spoke about Carlos Queiroz' abilities to every time it comes to a tactical war, he always seemed to find solutions, and he found solutions in this game. And it showed a different side of Egypt that we haven't seen in this competition, coming from a goal down to win. But this is what we miss about African football: the fights. When
I saw that.
Even the referee got involved. He punched somebody. I think he punched Mustafa Mohammed.
He was balanced.
He was,
asked him to back off there.
It was good to see North African team complaining about team wasting time. I mean, come on,
two
man.
North African teams.
It was joyful.
Epic
but it was the best game of the competition so far.
Great stuff.
Thoroughly enjoyable.
Daniel, you said you wanted people to see your face, right?
On Thursday,
when
we previewed this game,
yes, when we did,
I told you that this would be Morocco's last game in the competition.
You said that is true.
What did the spreadsheet say?
The spreadsheet said the Moroccans stood a better chance of making it.
Actually,
I told the spreadsheet. The spreadsheet said Morocco was favourites to win the competition.
Okay, hold on.
And I told the friend, no, we are not going back. I'm saying what happened. This is not when you say you made a mistake. There was a full episode for you to talk. And you and your spreadsheet said that Morocco were favourites to win the competition.
Here's the spreadsheet.
But it will change again.
This was actually I made a mistake.
No, Susua is admitting that he made
he didn't make a mistake. Right. We saw it. The spreadsheet said Morocco will win. Then he backed it up with numbers and stats and graphs. And I told you guys that this is their last game of the competition.
So maybe you can tell us from a numbers perspective, how did the Egyptians win, or did the numbers show that they were going to do this?
I just want to clarify. The spreadsheet favored Egypt.
Okay, that's fine.
But I think.
Oh, me, I can't manipulate spreadsheets.
You can't manipulate
how did you have it mixed up? Your bias, maybe.
Yeah, I think that was me. I think that was coming from my heart.
Like the Moroccans.
To say, the thing is, I think the game went differently from how we expected. I think a lot of us expected Egypt to be the one sitting back and Morocco to play in the football. But it didn't go that way. I think Morocco scored the early goal and sat back. And I think that's what was their undoing. I think after they conceded the first goal, they weren't able to wake up and rouse themselves. But Egypt deserved to win based on this. You look at this, an XG of 2 to 1.4. They had the better position, the better pass accuracy. And I think it was very strange because we see Morocco as a team that are good with the ball. We talked about how good they are with the ball. Only to come and play your biggest game of the tournament and have a 68% pass accuracy. It's not good enough. And frankly, they didn't deserve to be where they were. You have 16 shots. You only put 4 on target. And the Egyptians have 14. They put 5 on target. They entered the final third, 85 to 77. But a pass accuracy of 48% in the final third. They just wasted the ball when they got there. And I want to show you this shot map. So this is shots on target. I just didn't want it too crowded. Look at these 2 shots here. So 7 and 10. Those are the goals. Those are high quality chances. Look at the shots on target Morocco got. Apart from that header, which we all said Gabarski made the save of the tournament there. None of their shots on target were very threatening or close to the goal. You see the penalty there. It's a penalty, fair enough. But it just shows that Egypt made higher quality chances and they deserve to win the game. I think they just did the right thing when it comes to, I always say, get the ball in the box, take those high quality shots and you win the game. Egypt did that to perfection and I think that's a great win for them.
Daniel, okay, we'll get back to that in a bit there. Fanto.
Yeah, so she's right. Egypt absolutely took control of the game right from minute 1 and they dominated. And quite frankly, we didn't think they had that in them. We thought,
when they considered, I just thought that, okay, so here we go. Morocco to defend, probably grind.
But it's also the psychology of football. Because if you're chasing the game, what's the point in sitting back? Exactly. So, and I think that early goal sort of forced Egypt out of their shell. I think probably their game plan was to definitely sit back. But the moment they conceded that first goal, that went out the window. And now they had to chase the game. And they did it brilliantly. Mustafa Mohammed, I was very impressed with him because I thought that he plays as a proper centre forward and as a leader. He made himself a nuisance for the Egyptian, as for the Moroccan defence. He was all over the place, involved in all the fights. He was basically everywhere.
Right.
Mustafa Mohammed, and credit to him as well. And for the first time, basically seeing Mahmoud Trezeguet and Mohamed Salah combining again. Those two have combined an awful lot for Egypt in so many different competitions, so many different games. The understanding is brilliant. Okay. It was good to see him wipe Mohamed Salah's shoes.
Yeah, man. Lovely
after the goal.
All right, still watching the AFCON Daily Show. We'll be back after this very, very quick break. We'll take some analysis from Daniel. try and get some messages and then we'll wrap it up. Don't go anywhere. This is still the AFCON Daily Show on Citi TV. Welcome back. This is the AFCON Daily Show on Citi TV. Let's get to Daniel Cranting now. Daniel, you wanted to highlight a few things in that encounter involving Egypt and Morocco in the quarters of the AFCON.
Yeah, Susu says the spreadsheet made a mistake.
See the way he's smiling. I've never seen him like this.
Anyway, moving on.
He's just smiling. I don't get it.
Moving on. This is Mohamed Salah's game on a whole. Just something I wanted to highlight. Now, it was a very interesting trend I picked up. In the first half, he was limiting his touches. He picks the ball, one touch pass, didn't dwell too much on the ball. And if you remember on Thursday, probably the only thing Susu got right, Susu and his numbers got right on Thursday, when he said that Mohamed Salah would probably fancy that one-on-one battle with Masina because of Masina's defensive weaknesses. It was a bit surprising that in the first half, he was limiting himself. Anytime he had the opportunity to take him on, he would stop, turn, opt for a simple pass. So if you look at this was his touches in the first half. He has an opportunity one-on-one. He goes back. He has another one. He's trying to play a 1-2. He's not necessarily attempting to fancy the one-on-one battle with Massina. And that was a bit problematic for me. You see, Salah wasn't really getting himself into the thick of action. But in the second half, you can tell there was a clear instruction from Carlos Queiroz, which was to go at them. He has the skill, he has the pace, he has the trickery to go around his markers. And he started doing that. You see, when you do that, you create a lot of space for your position. So if you see this move, for example, he cuts in, creates space for Mustafa Mohamed, cuts the ball back. This is a skill that we know Salah has. Dwelling on the ball more, having more touches, drawing the defenders towards him, and creating space for the rest of his opposition. In this particular point in time, he had 4 defenders surrounding him. And we'll go back to the goal just to show you the sort of attention he purposely drew to himself. So you have 1, 2, 3 defenders of him. And Aguerd, who is sitting right here, has his eye on Salah. And he's pointing his hand to somebody to take somebody else. That's the sort of star power that you have. When you have that sort of ability, you obviously will cause defenders to be worried of your threat. And this continued. This was from the second half to the end of the game. Salah was taking responsibility, dribbling past players, drawing fouls. And sometimes you need to sacrifice your body for things like this, attempting to go. So this is the goal. Now, if you watch the goal and you pause it right here, this is not a chance. This as it stands should not be a chance. You expect Amrabat to make this run, double team on Salah. You expect this was Hakimi to make this move quickly just to close it down. And this will be a 1, 2, 3 against 2. In fact, against 1 in the box in Trezeguet. But one skill from Salah attracted 3 defenders to him. And that one skill completely took them off. And he created a space. So it was simply down to his skill, his class. You don't teach this in school. You either have it or you don't. And for a head coach to be smart enough to realize the potential and the skill of his player and ask him to use that skill to the best of the team is why you have to salute Carlos Queiroz, because this was all Salah. If you ask me, he picked the ball up, 3 defenders are gone, and this is what interests me most about the goal. The moment he looked up, you'd see him move away just here. He has his eye just on the pass, looks up at Trezeguet just to make sure he's making that run, slips the ball and the ball is in the back of the net. So for me, this was basically all Salah right there. He quickly just glanced up after beating 3 defenders with you see it, just there. He looks up at the run for Trezeguet and slips it into him and the ball is in the back of the net. It's 2-1. Another thing that really disturbed me was Morocco's decision making. And you see, it was highlighted most at the tail end of the game. It is 120 minutes, 1 minute plus 2 seconds. You have a free kick in a dangerous area of the pitch. You've shown throughout this competition that your crossing and your set pieces is one of your strengths. You have your goalkeeper who has come up into the box to offer that extra body. And what do? They decide to play it short. Honestly, who does this? Seriously speaking, who does this? And you see, if you look at the body language of Bono, he stopped running, he stopped chasing the ball, and he kept on going at. I quite missed the player who took the free kick, but he was going at him. Why didn't you look at it? Why didn't you hit it inside? Because that's literally our only chance to get an equalizer, and you decide to play it short. And all these things, I feel is coaching. There should be a clear instruction. hit the body, you never know what is going to happen. Plus, you have an extra body. It's not like Bono is going to be the one to score the goal. But his presence in that box just makes that extra body in the box just to cause problems. We've seen it last season with Alisson score that last-minute goal against West Brom. We see it happen. Just their presence in the box can cause. I'm not saying Morocco would have scored, but the point is give yourself the best chance possible to get back into the game or to get the equalizer, and decided to play it short. And this should have been 3-0, honestly, if Egypt were serious themselves.
All right, Daniel, thank you so much.
That's the one I was trying to describe.
The chance, yeah.
I'm glad Daniel brought it. It's a. Imagine if this game was level at that point and Egypt missed this and went on to lose in penalties. Football is always like this.
Bono nearly scored from a free kick just this season. I was watching a Sevilla match and he swung his leg and missed. So they should have gone for it.
But I think the most impressive thing about that Salah moment was actually also the quality of the pass, because more often than not, you're either going to get it too close to the goalkeeper to be able to clear, or too close to the defenders where they intercept. So to get it into that dangerous area and have the goalkeeper scrambling, and then it gets to Trezeguet, that is absolutely magical.
Of doubt. Susu, who is a spreadsheet's favorite now?
Senegal.
The whole of Africa is watching. You can't make a mistake.
The last time
you asked him
was
the spreadsheet, he's just telling you.
It was Senegal, Egypt, then Morocco. That was the order last show before this round. So they redo it after the round. I think Senegal will still be top because they are facing Burkina Faso.
See, I don't want you to think.
I haven't seen the new spreadsheet, so I'll bring it tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
I'll bring it tomorrow.
Let me read a couple of messages. Gameli, aka Monkey Man from Ashoman, says, blessings to the fearsome foursome on the show as always. Tipping Cameroon to win, but let's see what Salah can do. And he says, my mom just loves Fentu.
Oh.
I love your mother back.
She's married.
Okay.
She's amazing. We thank her for giving birth to you.
Tofik from Ketikrachi says, I'd be happy if either Senegal or Burkina Faso wins the cup for the first time in their football history. Cameroon and Egypt have had enough of the cup. This one says, I'm overly impressed with Burkina Faso. 2013, they had a different generation with Banse and co. Now they have a different bunch of young players. Let's give them 4 to 5 years. They might win an AFCON or might qualify for the 2026 World Cup.
Then we'll keep giving different generations chances out, then we'll make excuses for them.
Okay, all right. Anyway, that's our show for today. Thank you guys. Thank you, friend. Thank you, Sisi. Thank you, Daniel. And thank you out there for watching. This has been the AFCON Daily Show on Citi TV. We are back tomorrow with more as we look ahead to the semi-final, which will be played a little later this week. You have a fantastic day. Take care of yourselves and keep watching Citi TV.